It's 9 o'clock, and then we'll take a little break. So stocks are all green here, pre-market. Doge up 9% still. How's this looking on a chart? It's kind of sideways here. Broke over 56 cents, though, which is interesting. Let's take a look. So first thing, Euro AUD. This was the top of my list today because I had made money long yesterday, like I just said, buying it back here. But we're staying big picture focused. So first, it is a swapping TDI today. It starts in the sell zone and then pulls into the buy zone. Not a big fan of that. On top of that, you don't get any A1 signal here above the 50, and you don't get a D1 because it ends up shifting down, crossing the 8 and 21s down, telling me that if we cross that down and break the 50, this probably goes to Asia low towards the 200 EMA. And that's what it's done so far. So nothing has presented on Euro AUD that followed yesterday's bias. And even if it did, it's not a high probability trade because it's a swapping liquid 50. So it would be tough to induce me into that since both of my trades earlier this week come on perfect TDIs. Look at the L50 here, perfect in the buy zone. And then my other trade this week, Euro USD, perfect liquid 50 in the sell zone on that day. So I like those perfect liquid 50s. Probabilities are in my favor. And notice I was trading short on Euro USD in here. 8 and 21 EMAs are crossed down, so I was already in my downshift. And then here on Euro AUD yesterday, 8 is above the 21, so I was already in my upshift there. So I'm trading when short-term trend lines up with higher time frame trend. That's where I'm going in to then find my signal. So that's why I've got nothing on Euro AUD today. I think it's probably coming down at least to 156.20. And then we just watch it hold the 8 EMA to see how far it actually wants to go. GBP CHF is just a D2 that we saw yesterday, and now it's continuing to move lower here today. It's kind of like a head and shoulders from Tuesday into Wednesday. Thursday, it breaks that neckline. I have the entry marked as it comes off the 50 EMA out of the Asian session, only because you have a clearly defined risk point there with a really good TDI in the sell zone. So that's telling you it could hold the 8 EMA and continue lower. And once it bodies the 200 with this bar right here, that's a sign that it's probably going lower. And look, it breaks the 200, retests it with 3 pins, holds the 8 EMA, and still pushes it down full reset to the 800. So that's the D2 idea on GBP CHF. On GN today, we had a D1 idea here off the 50 EMA as it was making lower highs off the Asia high zone. TDI is in the sell zone more than it's in the buy zone today, so that's kind of why I like this idea. And I really like it because of the 1 minute setup. If you look, you've got divergence here at the 15-minute 50. If you sync up this blue box where we have that Asia high zone, if you sync it to the 1 minute, let me close this too. Come on. So if you look at it like that, you can see it's right underneath that zone, telling us that it's another lower high off the Asia high set back here on the 15-minute, right? You break the 50 after the divergence, you're changing bias. Then it gets the liquid 50 into the sell zone and gives you a lower high. I like this a lot because it's got a clearly defined risk point, and I know because of my back testing, once this 1 minute liquid 50 gets into the sell zone, it should hold the sell zone if this move is going to continue. By the time it breaks up into the buy zone, I'm well into profit. I've already taken profit if you were in the trade, and my stop loss would be locked according to my trade management rules. And if you're missing trade management rules, I would recommend you go to the link that I'm putting in the chat right now and check out our courses, because I don't just teach when to get in, when to get out, and I don't just teach how to draw divergence and how to read divergence. I show you how to manage the trades when they're working for you, so you're guaranteeing wins and not giving back profits and mitigating risk. I'll tell you guys, before we continue going over the rest of the stuff today, my biggest mistake of the year so far has been on SPCE. I might film a video about it this weekend, honestly. I bought the stock when it was $15 a share. I bought more at 19. I averaged per share at like $17, $18. I held the stock till it went to 60. I didn't care what the chart was doing, and as it came down, I ignored the 8 and 21 EMA break on the daily. I ignored it when Chamath sold a bunch of shares at 33, and I'm still holding the bag, and it's now down at like $15 a share, right back at my entry price, because I don't have risk management rules when I trade stocks. I buy them and I hold them, which is kind of a stupid approach if you ask me, compared to the way we trade Forex, where you take the trade, depending on if it's an A, B, or C grade, high quality versus low quality, you manage it slightly differently. But either way, you go up 2R in our system, you're locking your stop loss, you're taking profit. You can't lose anything then. The only thing that happens is you potentially give back. You miss some of the move if it does go further, if you get stopped before it keeps moving. But if you worry about that miss that you potentially miss that you had, you're going to be too greedy to actually make it in this business. So I think if you're mitigating risk and locking the stop, it changes the fucking game. Changes the game. So let's go back. You guys got the link here in the chat if you want to check out the courses. So that was the idea on GBP NZD. Okay. EuroCAD. A couple of the guys asked me, why wouldn't I be long biased today? Why wouldn't this be on my watch list? Well, the TDI is in the buy zone, but being a Friday, being bearish divergent on top, see how the RSI is falling and price is rising. Don't love that. And being at the 800 EMA, I don't love that. And then when it shifts for longs, and then when it shifts down here, I don't want to be buying it down here against the upshift and against the 50 EMA, the blue line in there, because I know it can pop like it did with these pins and then hold that 50 and move lower because of the divergence, because of the falling TDI, and because of the fact that it's a Friday. I know that this divergence can be held a little bit stronger in my opinion, because Friday you see things come into reset, you see them come into consolidation, and with this L50 coming down towards the stationary 50, that's kind of what that means. So I'm not in this trade, I'm just marking it up to keep an eye on it. I said this could be a potential idea to short it. Not my favorite idea. So we'll just erase this, just to avoid any confusion. Okay. Let's go to Euro JPY, see how that's doing. So it pulled back a little bit, but now it's starting to be a little bit more bullish in this candle. Keep an eye on this today. Mark it up, save it in your back testing if you're in ASFX already, because it's important. It is an overextended two candle formation because it's the biggest body of the day. It also has only 0.45 to ADR when you talk about the risk reward. And it's a swapping liquid 50. So there's three things about this that just make it a low probability trade. Could it come higher? Of course. Markets only go up, down, or sideways. It could definitely come higher. But again, I said this 3 times already. If I gave you 10 of these trades, would you take them all 10 times? No. Backtesting tells us no, because more than half of them would be losers. So mark this up if you're in ASFX. Take a picture of it later today. I'll send you my markup maybe later this weekend, and you can compare. But this is one of those formations that you want to learn how to avoid. And it's similar to Euro GBP on Wednesday. If we go back to Wednesday here, just remember there was this 2 candle formation here. It threw you the entry, tried to get you in. It's overextended. It's off the 21. You just don't need to be in that. What does it do? Next bar turns around and ends up coming towards your stop loss. For this Euro JPY, what is it doing? Next bar was bearish against the move. That's a terrible sign. If you're trading a good candle formation, like I'm going to show you in a second, the next bar should not move in your favor. Or excuse me, it should move in your favor. It should not move against you like this. Look at GBP USD. This is Harry's trade. He's still in it, crushing it. I'm happy for him. TDI is basically in the buy zone all day. The EMAs were a little bit counter trend with the 50 underneath the 200. But notice how it breaks above Asia high, breaks above the 200, uses it as support then, resistance then turned to support, and it gives you this 3 candle A1 formation. What does the next bar do? It pulls up in the direction and breaks for a new high of day in the direction of your trade. That's what a good A1 should do. And his TDI value there is good, so you'd expect that to continue to hold the 8 EMA, and he's taking profit at R multiples. This is probably the best idea of the day so far, especially because it comes at 645. I should have been paying more attention. I could have maybe put a little position on this. The GBP NZD idea that I reviewed already, this happened at 4:15 in the morning. I was not awake for that. So I think GU will probably take the cake as the idea of the day. Nothing on GCAD, nothing on GJ with these swapping liquid 50s. It's just very, very tough to read. UCHF, we talked about this. You could have looked for shorts here based on the TDI to see it come off the 50 and continue lower. But just take note, when you're going short from the 50 here, you're in an upshift already. 8 and 21 just crossed up. So what could be better? Well, it could already be in a downshift if you're looking to go short. So that's why I don't love this short idea. Similarly, on CHF JPY, you're going long potentially here as a D1. And I don't love this either because you're already in a downshift from back here. And here, you're actually under the blue 50 EMA. So not only do you have to trade through the 8 and the 21 to shift it up, but you also have to trade through the 50, which has already been proven to be resistance. So I think it's important to just understand what could be better. Number one, it could be in an upshift already. And number two, it could be coming off a significant level. This is not off the 200 EMA, not off the Asia low. Asia low is down here. There's nothing. This is off no man's land, which is why I think you're going to see it pop and probably fall. If it breaks for a new high a day, that would be impressive and different than what the majority of these types of trades do. I would be very surprised if it breaks for a new high of day. Same thing if USD CHF breaks for a new low of day. I'd be very, very surprised. I just don't think that's what they're going to do. Okay. So that's the morning so far. Like I said, keep an eye on Euro JPY, see what that does today. GN had a great move in a London session. Euro AUD had nothing for us, and GBP USD probably had the A1 trade of the day. So shout out to Harry for hitting this trade, man. Well done. Proud of you, bro. Myself talking to myself. New favorite channel. Let's get it. Kid Clock, what's up, bro? I appreciate you. For real. Thank you for the live streams this week. Strong week next week. Mike, thank you for working hard, bro. For real. I got to shout Mike out again. Mike is one of the guys like Harry who just got into ASFX recently within the first year. Anyone in their first year of ASFX is still a baby to me. And both of these guys, Harry and Mike, just I can see the work that they're doing and I can see it paying off. Some people, they talk a big talk. They want it. They say they want it. They want to work. They don't act to match those words. But these two guys, they definitely do. So if you're in ASFX and you're new and you want to connect with some guys that are in a similar position to you, but they're working really hard, remember we talked about you are who you surround yourself with? Those are two guys that I would reach out to if it was me because they stand out. I'm telling you, they stand out, and that's important. The people that stand out, they've become coaches with me. They've become self-sufficient. They've become consistently profitable on their own. Everybody's found a different path, but all the people that are super successful with our systems and able to trade full-time or trade as they run their other businesses, whatever you'd like to call it, those people stand out from the jump, like Mike and like Harry. So I would connect with them. If you're in ASFX, I would definitely connect with them.